From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 299 of From the Middle. Speaking of two and the 299, there's just two of us this week. Corey is traveling, so there's two middle-class guys living in the middle of America in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle with some rando third host way out on a West Coast. In this episode, we talk about Nugget ice. What's your thoughts on that? Are your lasagna portions big enough? That's pretty important. What kind of seasonal allergy remedies do you have? And we have a very important question about what's the most stereotypically miserable experience that you've come to expect and loathe. All important things with a tiny bit of what we're watching on the back end mixed with some sports. We hope you'll love this episode. Kendall and I had a ton of fun. Check it out.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
So I just want to circle back to something that I said a bunch of episodes ago we talked about. If you're really curious, go find the episode art. But we had dinner tonight from a delicious sauce shop called Cane's Chicken. And we took no prisoners. And it's always really good. And one thing we didn't talk about in that episode, which I can't believe that we didn't talk about it because this feels like something Corey would have cared about, but definitely something you'll care about, is why didn't we get to their ice pellets? The ice pellets that they use, because you have an ice pellet machine.
I do.
And we've talked about that before, but we didn't connect the dots on Cane's. And I was thinking about it as I was drinking my Coke Zero that I got from Cane's where we took no prisoners.
Yeah.
And I can't believe we didn't stop and talk about the niceness of the pellet ice. I don't know better. I don't want to hype it too much. People know what it is. But the niceness of it feels like a nice way to say it.
Yeah. Nugget ice is my friend. I know it. You know it. A lot of people out there know it. John from Grabbing the Brisket knows it.
Sure.
And if you're willing to have the thing, you can make it at home.
It's so nice.
It is nice. It really is. It's like chewy and crunchy. It's hard to describe, but it's not just crushed ice. Crushed ice from your fridge isn't the same thing.
Not the same.
Not even close.
No. I have a Sprite right now, and I wish that I had some of the Nugget ice pellets for my Sprite because it's not cold enough. Speaking of sodas and ice, tell me if you've ever done this. So I'm always on the hunt for zero sugar sodas that are non-standard flavors.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite is Mountain Dew Code Red Zero.
Yeah.
And almost no one ever has it around. And I love Code Red. I love Mountain Dew, but I also love Code Red. I don't want to say more than Mountain Dew, but it's real freaking close. Like it's a sliver away, almost indistinguishable from a distance. How the difference, or my difference in preference. Anyways, we shop at a few other places. We don't normally shop at Kroger, but I happened to I had to go to Kroger to get a few certain things that only they carry. And when I typically will like take my route through Kroger and go over by the sodas quick and make a quick like run through the aisle, and it's almost always the same things. And they happen to have Mountain Dew Code Red Zero. And I was so excited. And there was, in where we live in our part of the country, some of us have to think about the cost of soda. And it's been higher since 2020? Like unreasonably from how I grew up. Anyways, it happened to be on a decent sale. So I got two 12 packs of Code Red Zero. I was so excited. And I'm like, I knew I was going to have to go back for more stuff because this was just before Easter. And I was like, you're playing that game of like, I have certain produce I have to buy, but I can't buy it too early because then it's not going to be good in the thing we need it in. So I knew I was going to have to go back. And I'm like, I'm gonna go back and see if the Code Red is still there. So I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, I went back to the same Kroger, and not only did they still have it, they had even more and an even better sale.
Okay.
And so I think I bought about eight of them. Eight,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the 12
Yeah.
packs, because I don't know what's expensive near everybody else, but I think it came out to something like 420 for 440 for a 12 pack, which
Yeah.
these days is pretty darn good.
It
And I
is.
think I had a realization in that moment. I think that's the most 12 packs of a single flavor that I've ever bought in my life because I was so excited to get it. So I think you relate to the whole looking for non-standard drinks. So you can
Mhm.
weigh in on that. But I also want to know if you know what's the most of one flavor you've ever bought at one.
The answer is definitely going to be Diet Coke. Um, that's like virtually the only soda that my wife drinks. She dabbles here and there, but it's Diet Coke. And sometimes we don't have it because she has set a, a standard. I think it's currently a $5. If you can't get a 12 pack for less than $5, then wait
Yeah, fair.
until it's on sale. But then when we can, like we load up. And it used to be like two or three of those will be because it is like we'll buy 9, 10, 12 at a time or something like that. And then we, because we might not be buying it again for a while. And so it used to be like two, three, four of them would be Diet Cokes, and then the rest would be kind of like a mix. She'll text me, "What do you want?" Or
Sure.
the kids will be with me, and I'll be like, "What do you guys want?" And it's always zero sugar or diet stuff for our house too. And ever since we added the fridge to the basement, we have we have a whole we have like a bunch of different flavors of things over there. And the intent in it has worked so far that it's in the basement. We're less tempted to go down all the time again. And so like there's still flavors from the original stocking period around Christmas ish that have yet to be depleted down there. And so that has worked. But what that has also meant was we haven't been buying soda for me. I haven't been drinking nearly as much soda. I've been drinking tea lately, which means that I am confident that we bought 6 Diet Cokes recently, and that was the only flavor that we got. Um, that might be the answer. 6 might be the answer. The most of one flavor purchased at one time, I
Close.
think might be 6.
I was almost expecting in a household of five that you might have more, but it would be like, oh, but it was cans of, you know, lemonade or fruit punch or something because like it's a whole family, and so like
A whole family, or
we're buying a bunch, or because we did it for a party or we did it for
right.
yeah, mine's just for me. It's very gluttonous of myself to just buy it for me, but here we are.
Dude, can I tell you this? That one of the things that I love about visiting my wife at work for lunch, which I do sometimes, is at Children's Hospital. They pride themselves. It used to be all of their drinks, their soft drinks of any kind, were zero sugar diet. I think now they have a couple that aren't. But even on like their vending machines, so there's Coke branded vending machines, and the whole deal is, or Pepsi branded, but maybe both even. Um, all of it is zero sugar. So they have some of the weird stuff that you don't normally see. Code Red Zero is always available there. Um, and you can get, I mean, they have fountain sodas in the cafeteria like anywhere else, but they're all zero sugar. And so, like, you can get, your zero sugar mug there if you want, and
Oh,
all those things. Because I too love Code Red Zero
hmm.
so much. I dare say also, like you, better than Mountain Dew. Certainly better than Mountain Dew Zero. Mountain Dew is the one thing where like I love regular Mountain Dew. I
Mm.
can't like Diet Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew Zero Sugar to me are so inferior. I don't like Diet Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew Zero Sugar at all. But Code Red Zero I do. And
Mm.
so certainly. of the zero sugar Mountain Dews that are regularly available, my two favorites are Code Red and Baja Blast in that order.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I get the all the love for Baja Blast from especially because it's like Taco Bell adjacent and so people associate it
mhm.
with that. It's just not as good though for Code Red for me. I'm gonna always pick Code Red. It's that like cherry, like it's like the perfect blend of like cherry and Mountain Dew mixed together. And I do like Mountain Dew Zero, but I do agree that it's a lot better than Diet Mountain Dew now. We're at that point where
Mhm.
if I can avoid Diet Mountain Dew, I will because the
Yeah.
Zero is better. Anyways, I love talking about sodas with you because I know you're as much of an enthusiast as I am.
There's one that I didn't take a picture and send it because I think it's a repeat, but there's like a summer themed uh tropical punch kind of Mountain Dew and zero sugar that I bought this past week, I think, at Kroger.
Mm.
That was that was pretty tasty. It's
Yeah.
gone now.
Oh, you're gonna need to send me
Drink the
pics.
whole 12 pack.
Yeah, you're gonna need to send me pics. I also wish they would do more of that, like the checkout, the 20-ounce bottles of some of those limited runs, so you could just buy
Absolutely.
one-offs. And it's always tough. I can't find them at mine.
That's why gas stations are better. Like if you're looking for the 20-ounce bottle and you're looking for a selection, grocery store just isn't it.
It's
Gas station is where you want to go. And even then, you got to know which gas station to go to. Because
yeah,
some of them, like Speedway, used to be good. They're not anymore. They've got the same stuff the grocery store does.
yeah.
So
These are the moments where I feel like we really lean into the theme of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
everybody's
this feels very middle-aged Midwest. Well, I went out to my second fridge in my garage or in my basement and, stashed up on the Cokes because we knew we'd need them for the holidays in the summer.
Listen, there's a small handful of topics out there that we uniquely uh really zero. Everybody's got their things that they zero in on.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not the only people zeroing in on zero sugar sodas,
Yeah. Pun
but we might
intended.
be the only ones who have a podcast and are talking about it. So
Yeah, yeah. For anyone listening, you might have figured out Corey isn't here. So that's why we
correct.
talked about
That's-
zero sugar soda for 15 minutes. He's off gallivanting around the world, one web service at a time. But I'm enjoying talking about zero sugar drinks and our second fridges and stockpiling as if it's the end of days because they're delicious liquid treats. And that's how Kendall and I indulge. Although more tea recently. I'm very much on the Ted Lasso train in regards to opinions on tea.
Mm,
Um, it's not my thing, but more power to you. If it's hot tea's okay. If I go to an Asian restaurant and they have hot tea,
mhm,
that's okay. But I'm just not really. I wouldn't drink it much. I'm not into the cold tea, sweet tea, iced tea. It's
mm.
not my thing.
I'm into the cold teas. Always have been. And yeah, brew your own. It's cheap and it's if you like unsweetened iced tea, which I happen to, then that's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's always there for me.
More power to you if you can do the unsweetened tea. It's just not my.
You know what you can do, and that I tried recently, is that Propel makes a lemon flavor now, which I don't know if it's new, but it was the first time that I had seen it. And I made a lemon Propel using unsweet tea, and that was banging.
Yeah, see, that might be the way to sell it because I remember my our school cafeteria had a vending machine with the lemon Lipton brisk sweet tea whatever bottled. That was
Yeah.
so much sugar. It was almost an Arnold Palmer. It was almost like
Hmm.
half lemonade, half tea. And that was fine. I remember when I would really want something and all the drinks were out and you'd already put your money in and I was like committed to getting something and that was the last thing, I'd hit the button and would drink it. But that might be the way to do it, is to dump like a Propel into some unsweet tea.
Oh yeah, and I'm talking about the packets too. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the powder. So I'm mixing in Propel. I've done the same thing with Crystal Light as well, a Crystal Light lemonade packet into
That's a good
tea.
idea.
And it
That could
definitely
sell.
gets you much closer to the Arnold Palmer part of the spectrum than like the lemon flavored tea. So it's definitely more Arnold Palmerish, but the Propel was better than the Crystal Light.
Hmm. Now that I might have to actually try. That might be a way to get me on the quote sweet tea train by throwing in a liquid or a powdered Propel. See, this is why we talk about it because
It is. We
we
get
just
ideas.
learn new things and enrich our
Next time I
lives.
go to Kroger, I'm going to be looking out for the Code Red Zero, and before I just wouldn't even bother.
Yeah. You've got your buy sell threshold as a household, which is important.
Yes.
I try not to be stingy and sound like a
Well,
frugal person, but it's like I draw the line.
with something like that, like when I saw the limited edition Mountain Dew, like I'm not even looking at the price for that. I'm gonna get it.
You just got to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that until one place, I really don't. This is maybe where we're a little more middle class, I guess, than lower. But I really mostly don't pay much attention to prices when I go to sit down restaurants. We do fast food and
Hmm.
stuff, but like we don't go in and sit down at nice-ish for the area restaurants very often. So I mostly don't pay attention. I just kind of get what I want to get.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before. But I did happen to notice, I don't know where it was, Bree and I were, I don't know, a month or two ago. I happened to notice that the fountain soda was like $5. That's kind of a lot near us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Three feels standard, still high, but standard. And I'm like, I can't bring myself to do this
Yeah.
anymore. I'm just going to drink it at home. So I literally pulled the parent trick of like, we've got soda at home thing
Hmm.
on myself after that. It's like, I'll just get soda at home. There's a bunch in the fridge.
I'm with you. My wife is with you. I pretty much always order either an unsweet tea or a Coke Zero or Diet Pepsi, but um she often just gets water for herself and makes the kids get just water. And I don't know. My little rule of thumb with I think I said it before with eating out is like appetizer, drink, dessert. I'm going to choose one of those three things.
Mm.
And that's
See, when you say it that way, I almost never order an appetizer or dessert for myself. So
see. So
if I
now I
played
just gave
your
you the
game, it
card.
would be like, well, a $5. But then I'm going to start going, yeah, but I'd rather have $9 carrot cake than a $5 soda.
That's that's a fair point.
Because I'm going to
It
always
could
like,
backfire on you real quick. Yeah.
yeah, well, the crab cakes are the appetizer, even though they're $27. I'm going to get the crab cakes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Uh,
justify it too. Like, so in a Mexican restaurant, typically, um, my normal order is they always have the combination pick one, two, or three,
mhm.
right? You say pick two entrees and then comes with the rice and beans, and it's tiered pricing. And if you pick just one, you're usually right around $10, which is a few bucks cheaper than like any other entree on the menu that you would order, even though those are all bigger portions, because I'm just getting like one enchilada instead of like the trio or whatever, right? My normal order is to do a combination with one, just an enchilada, a beef enchilada with
Mm,
rice and beans. But then I also order choriqueso from
mm,
the appetizer menu, and I don't count that as my one of three, so I will still get the soda along with that because I'm figuring my dinner is choriqueso, which I happen to be sharing with the rest of the family. But then I got like the cheap entree because that's just how I roll in Mexican restaurants. I always want to try the enchilada and I always want to try the choriqueso.
See, I was going to ask, and you answered the question. I was going to say, assuming everywhere chips and salsa are free at a sit down
Yeah,
Mexican restaurant, because that's the America I want to live in.
yeah.
Assuming that they're always free, do you typically order queso? And if some kind of queso or guac would be fine for those people that like the taste of earth. If you order queso, is that part of your appetizer? Or is that the cost of doing business? If you go, to me, that feels like a not even the appetizer. That's like I'm just supplementing the free chips and salsa with a tastier dip.
I think of it as the appetizer, but unless you're going cheap on the dinner and you're making it sort of part of your dinner the way that I just mentioned. But if you're not, let's say I was ordering the trio enchilada platter kind of thing, and if I get the choriqueso or the queso dip, um, I'm counting that as my appetizer. I just maybe financially feel a little better about myself
Mhm.
for thinking
Okay.
of it that way.
Could you sell yourself like a side of rice and a side of beans with like 3 cups of queso? Would that be a fair trade-off?
Maybe. But the thing about choriqueso is chorizo mixed with queso.
Hmm.
And the chorizo is truly what I'm after.
Yeah. Okay. It's the meatiness with the cheesiness.
I am a sucker for chorizo. I love the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is the stuff people come for. It's muy importante. Very important stuff. I see. I don't know that I have enough of a regular order. Typically a huge burrito or quesadillas. Sometimes I like the quesadillas if I feel like they're going to give me like 3 or 4 small-ish ones
Hmm.
for my entree. The cheesiness and meat, it's good. I don't know. I don't have a go-to thing like an enchilada like you. So
Yeah.
now I'm intrigued with the chorizo. How did you say it?
Chorizo.
Chorizo,
C
just the
H O
chorizo.
R I Z O.
Oh, I knew that word. I don't know why in my head you were trying to combine it with chorizo and queso like a
Well, no,
word matchup.
so that dish of chorizo mixed with queso is called choriqueso.
Choriqueso. That's what you're saying. That word.
That
Okay.
choriqueso. Yeah.
Choriqueso. Okay. Yeah, I don't. I of course like chorizo and of course like queso. So I guess
Yeah.
I'm a queso fan.
But you know me, like I'm always comparing things, always comparing restaurants to one another, trying to figure out where my favorite choriqueso is in the area and those kinds of things. And so with my Italian places, I'm always getting the lasagna. It's one of those things for me where it's a benchmark. I love the dishes, and I can make a fairly good uh, I can formulate a fairly good opinion on that restaurant compared to others based on the beef enchilada and the choriqueso, because every Mexican restaurant has a beef enchilada and choriqueso, and you can rely. Like I don't even need to see the menu. Um,
So
so I've got my favorites.
it's like the burger and fries of any Americana restaurant. Like if
Exactly.
you can
Yeah.
handle a decent burger and fries, I'll probably come back. And if you can't even do that right, because at worst it's still going to be decent because they sell so many.
Yeah.
And if it's a really good burger and fries, then like safe enough that I can probably come back.
Yeah. Your bad Americana restaurant burger was still better than McDonald's, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And it's about the same price these days. So
yes.
you might as well try it. That's so interesting. I've never noticed. I've had an enchilada before, but I've never noticed that it's like standard on the menu. And now I feel like I need to use that as my baseline. Question on the lasagna thing. Do you feel like because like historically part of the advantage of pasta is it's so cheap, right? Unless you're putting
Mhm.
seafood in it or some kind of expensive meat and tons of cheese. Does it bother you when you go somewhere and order lasagna if the portion is really small? Like my expectation when I order lasagna is this is like ground beef in here. I'm kind of expecting a big block of lasagna.
Mhm.
This should not be a small, feel like an appetizer to me. And some places do. They bring out what I perceive to be a small block of lasagna. Are you looking for that? Do you not care?
I do care. If I'm ordering the sampler, that's one thing to give me a small block of lasagna.
Sure.
If I'm ordering the lasagna dish, yeah, I want a fairly decent sized piece of
I
lasagna.
want a brick, I want
Yeah,
a brick of lasagna. I expect for 16.99 or whatever they're going to charge me.
yeah,
I expect like a brick of lasagna. Uh,
yeah. I feel like most places, certainly your chains, do a pretty good job at taking care of you in the lasagna department. Um, I can't think of a chained Italian restaurant where I've been disappointed in the lasagna. I have received some small lasagna before and felt what you had described. But like Olive Garden does a good job, Brio does a good job.
Yeah, it's a little, you feel a little shortchanged. You're like, dude, I didn't get like shrimp or mussels or something in this that's more expensive. Like,
Yeah,
it's noodles and sauce and cheese and ground beef. Like,
exactly. You've got a whole like sheet pan of it over there. Like just cut the slices a little bigger.
yeah, yeah, this is the part of the country we live in. I actually want my portion of it. Shout out to Maggiano's, that the chain that I've had before that always delivers some great chain Italian food. It's very good. Um, that's interesting. Well, this actually does feel like a pretty decent spot to take a break and hear from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media. Hopefully, they have some delicious food themed conversation to share with you on their newest episodes. Check it out.
Greetings, fellow nerds. It's Garrett, your host of The Nodak Nerd, part of Odd Pods Media, the podcast where we explore the vast realms of geekdom. From the latest superhero flicks to retro video games and everything in between, we've got you covered. Join me for insightful reviews, hilarious discussions, and maybe even a few heated debates. Find The Nodak Nerd wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's get nerdy.
I promise you guys out there that Dylan and I did not go into this assuming that we were going to spend the entire first half of the episode talking about zero sugar sodas and food. But also it's Dylan and I at the helm, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
Quite on accident.
Yeah. At next time Corey is out, there's going to be a note with explicit instructions to not talk about soda or pizza or food in general. It's like, do you guys have literally anything else you can talk about while I'm gone?
It was an accident.
The answer is nope. If it comes up organically, we're going to do it. And
Nugget ice is where it all started.
I know, just such a simple origin of the Nugget ice.
Started with Nugget ice, and we flowed our way all the way to lasagna.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow food returned. Anyways, so how you been? Otherwise, this is normally what we would do right around the Nugget ice.
Well, first things first.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Doing good. Soccer season, baseball season are both in-game season, except baseball hasn't had an actual game yet because rain and thunderstorms. But we're there anyway. Next time the schedule and God align, we'll have a baseball game. We have a new pet in our home.
Oh,
that's a new thing. We have a new bird, a baby bird, a little cockatiel. And she was a Kids' Day gift for our children. So she is a shared pet for the kids, and literally brought her home yesterday from the place that we got her from. And it's so she's a good bird. She's not wild at all. She was hand fed straight out of the egg. And her name is Stormy, and we love her.
Stormy, a fresh little pickle poo. What is it? What kind of bird?
A cockatiel.
Cockatiel. That's
a white-faced cockatiel.
Is that why Stormy, like the X-Men?
I think Stormy because she is gray and white in color, kind of looks like a storm cloud.
Okay, so not Storm from X-Men. A simple no.
But sure. We call her Stormy, and out of my mouth the other day when we were talking about her came Stormy Daniels. Like the last name came through. And like I had thought it before, but this I just like I had said it a billion times before, I called her Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
And which was unfortunate. My wife is who I was talking to. She's like, I've thought the same thing too, but I haven't said it yet. And so now I've got to get that out of my head. Gonna redeem the name Stormy.
Yeah.
With a bird.
Yeah. Otherwise, people are going to start asking how you paid for the bird. I'm going to get a bird now and call it Professor X. And then you can associate Professor X with Storm.
Yes.
From the X-Men, since I'm a big nerd. That's awesome, though. I assume the kids are very excited.
They are very excited. It's fun. She makes cute little bird noises, and it makes the kids giggle. And
yeah, that's awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, very good. No new pets over here. We're actively avoiding that like the plague. No
Yeah.
additional responsibility required at this moment, but they're cute. And some family just got a dog, and they love their pet, and they love looking at pictures when they're not with their pet, and they also acknowledge how hard the pet is, and don't recommend getting getting a dog, even though they love theirs. So I think we're just gonna let the 7-year-old daughter stay our little pet for now.
Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get a goldfish someday.
Yeah, that's right. But you should send a picture and we'll share it out on social media so
Yeah.
people can see the pet. Also, I don't know if you can hear the thunder in the background. It's storming. So if the power goes out, there might be a quick cut for the listeners if that happens.
Yep. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
TBD.
see. Welcome to the Midwest in the spring.
Yeah, it's lovely. Speaking of Midwest in the spring, during those seasonal allergies, I would kill for one night with my nose not feeling mostly clogged. And unlike other people in my family who I shall not mention, I don't have a big beak to breathe through. I have a much smaller nose. And when it's half clogged, it's not easy. And so I don't know about you, but man, it just feels like it's rampant. And I think really try not to use nasal spray, but I think I just need one really good night of sleep. And I think I got to try it tonight.
Well, the nasal spray is a buildup type of medication. It can take it up to a couple of weeks to start being effective. So that's if you're talking about like Flonase is specifically what I know about.
Yeah, this is like this is like the equivalent of like the extra strength Tylenol version of over the counter nasal spray that'll do a real good job at clearing you out in like 5 minutes. So I really try. I know people say it's addictive or whatever. I really try to make it rare that I use anything like that. But sometimes you just need
people
to be
are getting addicted to nose spray.
I've heard that for a long time. There's certain kinds that can be like the package will say do not use more than 3 days in a row. Or,
oh, wow.
Yeah. I think that's a thing. So like it's something I heard at least growing up. Maybe that's like a, blue collar dad thing. Like don't get hooked on the nasal spray. I don't know. But yeah, it's a thing that I've always heard. So there's probably certain kinds. Somebody can Google it, or maybe Amy can weigh in or know somebody who can weigh in.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
No, I take Zyrtec year round daily. And like I have to, I see an allergist, and like this is the worst time of year right now. And then again in the fall is another little peak season that happens because the ragweed starts blowing up.
Oh, well, I just Googled it, and it says addictions are physiological cravings, and while over-the-counter nasal sprays can be addictive, they aren't true physiological cravings. Therefore, they are not truly an addictive substance. However, they can be addictive due to the ongoing cycle of decongestion and congestion that they create. So that's what they say. I don't care to read the AI version of that response, but so it's like a what do we say? What was the Snopes meter in last week's episode? It's like a partially true kind of, or a little bit true, however they rate.
Maybe it seems like melatonin as a sleep aid isn't addictive in the same way a lot of other drugs are addictive, but it can be habit forming like anything can be. I wonder if it's something along those lines.
I think so. So I take like an over the counter, like just standard 24-hour pill, like pretty much year round, just to keep whatever. But yeah, occasional nasal spray, and I'll try not to go too much. But I'm glad you got something that you use, and apparently are not addicted to it. So good job.
I've got a few things that I use. I've got one of my fun little quirks with allergies is my most common reaction is air passageways closing up asthma.
Oh,
so which isn't fun to deal with. And so there's I take I have a daily inhaler that I take, and a rescue inhaler as needed. And then the Zyrtec every day I drop seasonally as needed. And then the Flonase I'm taking currently and then I'll take it again in the fall when I need it.
There you go. If people have products, a bag full of products like Kindle, let us know what you take that gets you through the
Yeah,
snotty times. Uh,
more riveting conversation. We're good at
it
this.
is. This is really good. Speaking of riveting, I had to go to the BMV this morning, and I bought a new to me car from another human being, and needed to do the title thing. And I got there right at open. I planned on not needing hours away from work, so to speak, but I told my
Mhm.
boss preemptively, hey, I think I'll be home by normal start time, but blocked out until lunch just in case, trying to over prepare.
Yeah.
Thinking title, tags, plates, all that stuff could take a minute. And I even called ahead several days ago and spoke with somebody because I Googled it. I went to the website, like, what do I need just to make sure?
Get your folder ready to go.
I did. I did literally had a folder,
Yeah.
and it said call to make sure you have the right stuff. So I called, I talked to the person. I said, hey, I haven't done this in a minute. What do I need to have ready? We talked at the thing. I said, so there's nothing else. There's nothing else that I need. I'm going to be good to go if I bring these three things. Yep, perfect. Go in, have the notarized title from the previous owner. They wrote the sale price, had a three in it. But because the three had a slightest smudge, just the tiniest
Oh,
little bit of extra ink near the top of the three where it curves, I got the whole, that could be a three or a five. We don't know. So this won't work. And so now a form comes out, and that you need this form to go back to the seller. It's a seller form. They need to fill it out. It needs notarized as well. Then you can come. So, needless to say, after driving around to different places and having things filled out and notarized and having gone back, I didn't get to finish the tag and plate portion, but I did get the title portion done. And so I say all of that to say I called ahead. I prepared the best that I could. It was barely a gray area on the number, but
yeah.
it's not my job, and I'm not being critical of the state or federal workers or whatever people. They're just trying to do their jobs and pay their bills like me. With that said, is there anything else you're aware of that you do as an adult that lives up to the misery in your head that you're expecting to encounter? I mean, it. Lots of people joke about the BMV, stand-up comedians. It's kind of the thing, like, oh, I gotta go to the BMV and wait for da da da. But if I had tried to finish the plate and the tag portion, that would have been like I heard people saying to people waiting, you might want to try another day. They're telling people over there they're going to have to sit and wait in their car,
Hmm.
because that's how I'm like, I don't have that much time today to do the rest of this after the whole
Right.
rigmarole with whatever. So, like, it is what it is. It's a thing we have to do. It's just how our country decides to function. But I don't know that I can think of anything else that lives up to that sort of stereotype, at least as much as the BMV.
Right.
I was really
No.
struggling to come up with any other examples where I feel about as frustrated every single time that I do it.
Yeah. So I think I have one. But first of all, I'm glad that you bought your used vehicle from a human being rather than a squirrel, because trying to track down a squirrel for another
Yeah.
notarizable document would have been hell.
Yeah. They don't like to nutterize things. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly. Uh, the one thing that comes to my mind is, this isn't so much a problem these days, is medical forms.
Hmm.
Like your the first time at a particular doctor's office or something, or the first time for the year, now you've got to redo all the paperwork, and you have there's all sorts of information that I don't know the answers to off the
Yeah.
top of my head that I have to
Like you go to your doctor every year and they want like patient history and like family history and
yeah, it's
stuff.
like none of this changed. Can't you just like,
You got the form from a year ago. It's all the same.
yeah, now I'm looking up like like I'm looking up the address to my pharmacy and that kind of thing. It's not necessarily stuff that it's nothing that I can't get the answer to, but it's stuff that I never look up
Yeah, you don't.
otherwise, and I don't know it.
Your brain decided long ago, this is not important enough for me to try to remember. I'm gonna forget it every year, and then I need to
Yeah.
go back and look. Or you just got to write it down because you're like, I'm not gonna. Clearly, my brain doesn't want to prioritize this information.
Yeah. And then back in the day, like these days, most of the time you're filling it out on your phone days before, and it's much more convenient to do it that way.
Sure.
If you have all this information into the health app on Apple, then it's all there anyway. And so you have sort of one place if you keep it updated, you have one place that you can go to get all this information. But like, man, I remember sitting there in doctor's offices filling out forms by hand, and here's your half-inch line to write like the name, address, and telephone number of your pharmacy.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So I remember that being a problem, and it's still an annoyance, even though it's all done digitally these days. But that's the one thing that comes to my mind, and it's very DMV-ish. It's the same kind of problems.
It is. It's funny because my head, I thought where you were going at first was you go to a doctor when you need care so that they can remove your misery, and then all the insurance conversations start, and like the misery, a different kind of misery starts
Yeah.
with all of and forms being mailed and balance billing and all that. But yeah, that's a really good one, and it reminds me of our company has our health benefits has Teladoc as part of like the virtual medical services, and it's how the like there's no copay if you use, so you get help right away. They'll call you. You don't have a copay. It's much better if you just have like cold or flu or something. And I remember them talking about it. I'm like, cool. I should download the Teladoc app. And they're like, hey, here's what we recommend. Don't wait until you're sick to register for Teladoc, because then you're going to need to set it up and answer all the questions and do all the things when you're sick, and you don't want to do that then. You just want to talk to somebody. So I'm like, that's really good advice. I'll go home and set up Teladoc. And it was that. It was the whole form, but digital. And then then my brain's starting to go, you don't even need this right now. You can just close the app and do it another time. And I'm like, no, no, no. They warned me about this. They told me, don't wait, because once you're sick, you're not going to want to do it. So it was such great advice, because if you can fill it out ahead of time, to your point, it is more convenient. Like the My Chart thing sends the thing and you log in and you answer what's changed since. It is way better, but it does feel so much like, can't your thing have a, like, when you're checking out at any place you're buying something and it's like you fill in your address and then you check the box, it's like same billing and shipping, and you check it in and it autofills everything else. Why don't they have that for medical forms? Like same as last year, check. If there's anything different, add a note here. Otherwise, check the box. I don't know. So clearly all the smartest software people and insurance company C-suite folks are listening to our podcast. Hopefully they will take that feedback and run with it for all these medical record systems to make our lives 2 minutes easier.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, I think we covered the I don't think there's probably much else that's more stereotypically miserable than those things. So if anybody else thinks of any, certainly let us know. Hopefully when Corey listens, if he comes back, he will let us know if he's got anything unique.
I feel like there's more out there.
There probably is. We're not thinking about. These are just more this is a recency bias kind of thing. We're like, this is the worst thing because I dealt with it today. And then in a week, I'll be like, what BMV? You can at least do some of the renewal stuff online. So kudos for that. But anyways, so let us know if you've got anything that feels more stereotypically miserable as or more so than those two things. But I feel like that's going to
Taxes.
be pretty universally relatable.
I feel like a lot of people are going to say taxes because that's a recent thing.
Yeah, that's true. See, I send mine to a guy. I got a guy.
I have a wife.
Yeah, those work too. Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I use my guy, but it still feels like a thing because I, in an effort to be cautious, I scan all the copies of all the documents that I've collected from all these places and printed. I
yeah,
scan them all with my phone to have a singular version, and then I mail all the physical versions to my guy, and then he mails it back with everything outlined, and I just sign and write him a check.
great.
But yeah, that feels like even the collection of the things, like getting it from all the different places all in one place and organized,
Mhm.
and like check the box on is it all here. At least you hope there's money at the end of that road, just
Right.
like a little bit left.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's different for different households, right? So it's like it's easier if you don't itemize a lot of things and like you don't own your own business and things like that. But then there's the people who do own their own business and they buy all kinds of things on Amazon, some of which is personal and a lot of which can be. And then you've got to answer some moral questions of like, am I being honest about? Is this a business expense? And then if you don't stay organized, then now you're going through like a year's worth of Amazon orders, sifting through stuff
yeah.
and copying pasting numbers into a spreadsheet and doing all of that. So I could see it. I could see a lot of people having trouble doing that. Even if, and that's just the data collecting. Like that's just the information that even
Oh
if you
yeah.
have a guy, this is stuff that you still have to do
Yeah, you got to do
to
it.
get to the guy.
We really lit it up in this episode between ice
Yeah.
and the BMV and taxes. We are
It's
we are like
allergies,
allergy.
seasonal allergies, sugar-free soda, Nugget ice, and the DMV. This
We're
is
not going to be able to release this episode. Oh my gosh, what are we talking about? Anyways, I think we can probably end on our typical are you watching anything new? We just had the NFL draft. UFL is still going on. There's a bunch of TV shows on and coming out. Are you watching anything right now?
nothing, nothing new. Still watching Reacher and reading Dean Koontz novels. That's still my media life right now, with the exception of I watched a little bit of the NFL draft, which was fun. It was an interesting draft. Seeing a lot of linemen go these days early, which is always fun to see for a big guy like me, and that's cool. And the Colorado Rockies in baseball still suck, and a lot of people are talking about maybe they suck so bad that we need to do something about it. People are having that conversation about the Rockies. So
Like what would they do? What are they proposing?
I don't know. It's just the MLB isn't proposing anything. It's just talking heads thinking maybe we should do something about this, how bad they are.
Hmm.
And because it's not just there's a lot of teams and a lot of different sports that suck, but not none of them, it seems, have sucked as bad as Colorado has for so long.
Hmm.
Like it's that's sort of their issue, and a lot of questionable decisions about like hiring from within all of the time and drafting very poorly. And it just seems to be there's little to no effort to invest in the team and little to no effort to try to make the team any better. And that brings down the competition for the whole league. It puts a black eye on MLB in the region and things like that. So it's to the point now where people actually are talking. It is a thing that you can read up. It's the talking heads right now are focused on the Colorado Rockies and wondering, does the MLB need to step in? And I don't know what they could do. If can they force a change of ownership? I don't know. But
Yeah.
that would be the answer. That's what people would want,
Yeah.
is somebody who's interested in investing in the team should own the team. I don't know if MLB can come along and say, you know what, you don't get to own the team anymore.
Yeah. There's got to be something in a clause somewhere that if everyone votes on or something.
I
So
don't know.
stereotypically miserable experiences. The BMV taxes, medical records, and being a Rockies fan.
Yes. They're all on the same level.
All
Yeah.
the same, exact same level of misery. I'm sure the Browns fans can relate too for the NFL.
But I mean, the Browns made the playoffs recently, right? I think,
That's
didn't
true.
they?
That's true.
So there's that. So even the Browns fans can say, you know what? We're not the Rockies.
Yeah, that's true.
The White Sox had the worst season last year. Like it set an MLB record for losses. And even they can say, we're not the Rockies.
There you go. Not as bad as the Rockies. Well, speaking of sports teams, I'm wearing my Wrexham hat because
Yeah.
if you're following it all, the Wrexham is now 3-time promotion back to back to back, getting promoted, and they're moving on up to the Championship League. So pretty cool. Which welcome to Wrexham. The next season starts here in a couple weeks. So gonna get to watch the new season. I'm sure they're recording everything that's happening so they can quickly insert the last episode to have the getting promoted again in the English soccer system. So that's pretty cool. Good for them.
It is
fun,
very cool.
fun to follow along. It's like never happened before in the top 5 leagues of English soccer or something before. So it's like unprecedented success. Wrexham.
Man, I bet you it's fun to follow in the European circles of I bet you that the average soccer fan over there is pissed off.
Sure.
Like, it literally buying your way into it. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. Hey, all of these teams have rich people running them.
It's a viable strategy. And
it's a viable strategy. They're all buying their way into it.
Yeah. And frankly, I think the best thing that they did was, from my perception of watching the series, is they hired their coach and their ops manager who had legitimate experience, and all of them seemed to be willing, I think because of the owners, Rob and Ryan, all of them seem to be willing to be very honest about what they know and don't know and where they need to lean on other people. And I'm not saying they're doing everything right or they're good guys, but I'm saying it seems like something they are doing right, which is when we don't know something, let's make sure we get experts to weigh in, or let's hire experts or whatever. And so in watching the series, I think they do that well. And it's pretty cool. And sure, if a couple UK super loaded, music stars came over to America and bought a crappy NFL team, it's even way worse than that because we don't have
the Rockies.
You bought the Rockies. We don't have promotion and relegation, so they're at least a professional team already. But if we did, and they had this minor league team, and then all of a sudden they were moving up and became an MLB team in several seasons, that would be and of course all the other fan bases would complain.
Yes.
And it's okay to be jealous and complain because you're jealous, because it's sports and it's meant to be fun. So that's fine. So I imagine the English soccer fans are jealous, and and they're going to be like, it's just because you got money. Yeah, that's all the teams.
Yeah, that's you too. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just newer at it than you.
Yeah, exactly. It just worked this time. Yeah, it's no different. So, so that's pretty cool. Still watching Andor, which is really good. And I know there's more stuff coming out, movies and TV shows, but I just finished Daredevil, which we talked about. I'm watching Andor, which is still going on and is so good. Wrexham comes out soon. Another Long Way series with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman is coming out. Long Way Home, and not long, I think within the next few months. So plenty to watch, both in theaters and on streaming, which we'll continue to talk about. But unless you have anything else, this kind of feels like a good spot to kind of wrap it up.
Let's do that. And until recently, within the last couple of years, if somebody were to tell me what does fire smell like, and I would say, it smells like smoke, but that's not exactly true. Smoke smells like smoke. fire doesn't smell like smoke. What does fire smell like? And while I've always known what citrus smells like, generally speaking, I've never known what fire smells like until I got my hands on the citrus fire scent from Ardius Man. And now I know that fire smells like my beard that's been bathed in citrus. So that doesn't quite track, but it's what I'm saying anyway. Your beard can also smell like citrus fire or like one of amazing manly other scents that you could possibly find at artiusman.com, artiusman.com. At heart, they are a men's facial hair company who also, by the way, make some other amazing grooming things, your shampoos and your soaps and body washes and your scrubs and all of that stuff as well. They've got candles and merch and other things too. It is a good company. It's a local company to us. We believe in them. They are making good products. They help us out as well. And go to their website, fill up your cart, and you're going to like the stuff that you purchase, and you're going to smell better, and your ladies are going to love it. And use promo code the middle in the checkout, and you'll save 25% off if it's your first order.
Perfect.
Anything else, Dylan?
I don't think so. You crushed it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.